So you want my 9 to 5 escape model that got me out of this job right here in just 2 years and also allowed me to make in 8 months 103K in 2025. Well, you came to the right place because I'm going to tell you that model, which has nothing to do with just chasing your passion, because that just is a glorified hobby and is not going to make you money. Money is what you need to survive. But at the same time, it's not just going to be grind yourself into the ground, because that doesn't do anything other than make you miserable and then not really get any results, because you can't really stick to it long enough. You can't stick to it long enough. You never build up the skills to actually make money, and then you just fail. And I'm not selling you no secret business model. Like, I'm not going to tell you how I made my 103K, because the business model or the career that you approach, whatever that you do to make money that you are able to sustain, isn't going to be the same thing that I'm going to do. So I don't have no specific models to sell you like a lot of other people do. I'm just going to give you the thinking that I use, again, the model, so then you can think for yourself about how to most effectively use your time on the thing that you want in order to get you to escape your 9 to 5. Not waste all your free time on distractions or shiny objects or taking a bunch of courses that gurus have sold you online. Are you guaranteed to do it like I did with this job right here in 2 years? To be honest, no. You might not do it in 2 years, but 2 to 5 years, I think, is 100% realistic if you follow this model. If you're as skeptical as fuck, as I'm sure you are, on top of the 103K this year alone, so low, I do also have a 6-pack, which obviously qualifies me to give you this advice. So here it is. The only framework or model, whatever you want to call it, you need to achieve freedom or escape your 9 to 5. Maximize the time doing what you want. Minimize the time doing what is required. This is what you call admin task. I'll get into the specifics in a bit. And also delete your time doing what is not supported. And I specifically did not include optimize here, because usually optimization is the type of thing where you spend a lot of time doing something most efficiently. But the problem is, if you spend a lot of time to make something efficient, but that thing that you're doing in the first place isn't something that you should be spending your time on, then that whole optimization process and the efficiency is a waste, complete waste in itself. So that's why I just keep it to min, max, and delete. So now getting to the very specifics of how this model looks. If you've seen the Alex Hormozi's $100 million money models, this is actually kind of modeled off that. So you have the maximize time, the minimize, and you have the just totally delete. So within maximize, what this means is, outside of your 9 to 5, what is the one thing that you should be doing to eventually escape? So what is the profitable business, or what is the career that you want to go after? You have that goal in mind, and you realize that you need to work on it as much as possible. You need to spend as much time as possible doing that, whatever work that is required to get to that goal, in order to eventually escape your job. And I'll get into the specifics of how you can spend your time, whether it's business or career, in a little bit. And at this point, you actually might not have this one thing that you need to maximize. If you want to find that one thing that you need to maximize, you just have to realize that this thing eventually has to be able to make you profit. If it's a career, that's of course easy one. You just pick the career that you want. It's more of an interest type thing. For a business, look at a business model that works already, that makes profit, and then look to see if you're interested in, and that's the thing you just spend your time on. If you're stuck at all or not clear on what you want, or you're trying to pursue something right now and you have a problem with it, you can actually tell me about it in the top link in the description. It's completely free, and I'll come back with targeted advice for you to get unstuck. If that interests you, then take a look so you can maximize as much as possible. But anyways, business or career. And with that, we can get into minimize now, which is, as I mentioned, the admin task. What I mean by this is all the things that you absolutely have to do, but are not related to your maximize type of task. So that's like paying your bills, working out, eating food, brushing your teeth, sleeping. All those things you absolutely have to do, but you should spend as little time as you need to on it. And just to clear it right away, what I mean by minimizing the amount of time on sleeping is just get the highest quality possible. So get the maximum amount of results in the minimum of time. So get 9 hours as high as quality as possible, or at least 6 hours if for whatever reason you don't have time, but I think you should get 9 hours. Things like eating and brushing your teeth, you can dial that in yourself and have a specific time for it. And where I can give a little bit more targeted advice is paying your bills. What you can do here is, of course, you can set up auto pay if you don't have auto pay set up already, so this goes really quick. Or You can do things like set a specific day. What I like to do is I don't really like to use autopay just because it helps me just more consciously track it if I do it myself. Is on my phone, on my calendar, I will have just one day where that is like the pay bills day. I'll handle all my credit card bills, any other bills. I'll move the money around for it, and everything gets done in like an hour or so. And things like working out, I have a specific schedule. I optimize it as much as possible. And in the way that I do it is like a grease the groove type of routine, which whenever I'm taking a break from my work, let's say I worked like 2-3 hours, and I'm just about to get a drink, I'm about to take a piss, and which is usually when I take a break, when I just need to take a piss, I'll just go and do a round of my workout. So I'll do some pull-ups, do some push-ups, squats, whatever. And by the end of the day, I took like 5 pisses. I just did 5 sets of every single exercise to get a full workout in, right? So minimizing the time that I have to do the admin type tasks, things that are necessary but are not related to my thing that is actually going to make me free, but are very supportive on that, like keep me healthy or keep me not financially fucked. So you'd be able to pursue this as much as possible. Now, for the last part of the framework is to delete doing what is not supported. And there's 2 ways to do this one, or there's really 2 different categories of things that are here. It is either real distractions like doom scrolling, video games, anime, watching dirty videos and doing dirty things with those dirty videos. Or on the other hand, there is just straight up shiny objects. Getting into both of them, starting with the just plain old distractions. I have other very detailed videos on how exactly to get rid of them, but literally just stop doing them. To get started, you just need to add some friction, like delete the apps or block yourself in some way. And alternatively, actually just doing the admin tasks that are related to health, like eating well and sleeping good, actually solves one of the source problems of the distractions in the first place, which is being tired. Like your brain's too tired to actually do the work that you want to do, which then it just gravitates towards distractions. So then if you have enough energy and then you added friction, that will allow you to just instead work on your maximized tasks and then therefore not do the distractions. Now moving on to the shiny objects. This one is you just have to have as much certainty as possible on your maximized task. If you're not certain about your maximized task, that's what is going to make you want to do things like you randomly day trade or gamble or go into an entirely different business model or try to jump to an entirely different career all the time. It's because you think the thing that you're doing isn't going to get you freedom. You don't believe that it's actually going to eventually help you escape. And the best thing that I can tell you here is really research. Again, if you want to gain conviction on your maximized task, you take a look at again. You look at the prerequisites. The maximized task, in order to get you escaped from your 9 to 5, is going to have to make profit, right? So first off, does it make other people profit? So do you have a winning strategy in the first place? And then secondly, are you somewhat interested in it? Do you enjoy learning the skills that is required for whatever thing, whether it is business or career? If you have those 2 things, you have a winning strategy and you enjoy it enough to do long enough to get results. Sure, it might take 2 to 5 years, like I mentioned, but at least that gives you certainty enough to stick with it throughout the 2 to 5 years, which then stops you from taking shiny objects within that time frame, which then only increases the time that you need. So it could take like 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 20 years. Some people, it never happens in their life because sure, they might have something that they could make them really successful and they could actually do, but then they keep getting distracted by things like, throwing all their money in Dogecoin and then they lose everything. And it just keeps delaying what could have made them successful. And now coming back to maximize and what I mentioned earlier about it not being about just pure passion and also not being grinding like those stupid gurus always tell you to just grind like 16 hours a day, because that's not really going to work. How do you actually most effectively spend your time on business or career? So that gets into the next part of actually how to spend your time. And I've done both business and career. Like I did choose a career that I do enjoy, but I decided I do like to do business better, which is why I quit at this point. But I'll tell you how I spend my time on both, which I think is the most maximized within the maximized category. So for business, I actually got this from Alex Hormozi. If you don't know who Alex Hormozi is, he literally makes hundreds of $1 million per year. He used to be broke. He started a gym and he eventually got into like more private equity type things. And now he's like owner of school.com, if you heard of it, and he's doing very good. He gave this framework, which is to build, promote, and deliver. What build is is you are literally building your product, you're building your business, whatever it is, or you're further refining your service. That is the build category, making your business better. The promote category is just, of course, telling people about your business. So getting whatever you built out there, and delivering is once you've told those people about whatever you built, that is to actually do the service, actually like physically deliver the product, or digitally if it's a digital product. And you can split up your day in sort of like 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. Alex Hormozi has this. If you want to work 12 hours a day. Personally, I honestly, I don't work 12 hours a day. And a lot of people are successful out there working like 2 hours a day. For Hamza, for example, he works like 4 hours a day, maybe. So it depends on the lifestyle that you want. If you want to go like super hardcore, then that is an option. If you want to go less hardcore and you want to just get freedom, I do personally think that you can get away with like 2 to 4 hours per day. So, but either way, you start like, I don't know, you build for anywhere between 1 to 4 hours, you promote for 1 to 4 hours, you deliver 1 to 4 hours. So that gets you to around 3 to 12 hours per day. And you can work anywhere within there. Sometimes, actually, some weeks, maybe you work less, some weeks you work more, depending on what's going on in your life. And going into the career section, so if you want to change careers to something you more enjoy, for whatever reason you're in coding because like you got convinced by everyone that coding is the best thing to do, and you want to go into more like a service type business like equity analyst, or maybe you want to do consulting, sort of like the thing that I was doing. First off is just do your research. What specific industry do you enjoy? What specific job titles do you enjoy? What companies do you actually would like to work for? So, of course, it could be a startup, could be a big corporation, whatever you prefer. You do that extensive research. Then you network with the people that are specifically related to the roles that you're interested in. So that's what I did with this job here. Then you apply, outreaching to all those people, both recruiters, hiring managers, even higher ups, just to talk to them, to build a relationship about the position, which one, you can either talk about it as an experience within your application or your interview or whatever you're doing, or you can actually take it, like get a referral from those type of people. Then finally, you go into the apply stage, which is going through the whole application process, which is of course resume, cover letter, preparing for your interview in both the technical capacity and the behavioral capacity, like the tell me about yourself type of questions, or what would you do in a situation with this kind of conflict type of question, or more technical questions like this company has this much revenue and they sell this type of product, but they have trouble with the sales for 10 years or whatever, and they want to know what to do or what you do, and you solve that problem for them. And a little bit unlike the business here, you spend your time sequentially. So you first do the research, you get like 3 to 5 top companies that you want to apply to, then you do the networking for it, then you apply and go through that process. And once you actually get a position, you get a bunch of offers, it becomes the same as a business, except you want to think about it a little bit differently. So with the business, like you actually build the business, you actually promote it, your product or service, and then you deliver it. With a career, like sure, you're going to be doing those things for the business, but I think in order to make it so it's most flexible, which will allow you to get skills in order to build a business later on if you actually want to do that, or further you in your career actually grow you, like get you promoted, kind of like I did, actually got promoted super fast unlike other people, is you build yourself in terms of skills. So get more skills for the job and the higher positions if you actually want that. You promote it by sending out whatever emails that you need, giving the work that you created, whatever work that you were required to do, to whoever requested it with you, like presenting it yourself, not letting anyone else present your work for you. Then of course, actually delivering. Like you don't try to go steal someone else's work or anything like that, or take credit for other people's work, or try to laze around and just kind of skate by to collect your paychecks. You actually give out quality work and then let people know that you are doing this quality work. And you constantly sort of do that same cycle of build, promote, deliver. If you want a little bit more on the promote side, because in working in a corporation is a little bit intricate in the promote side, you can actually just read 46 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I think it's really good. I read it originally when I first joined, and I think it was very helpful. Even if you subconsciously do a lot of things, like the politicking in the company, that book by itself, well, allow you to more consciously see manipulation tactics from other people, and then also allow yourself to maneuver a little bit better, if you want to call it like that. So with this model and that framework to utilize your maybe 2 to 12 hours of free time per day, depending on what is going on with your life, you can escape your 9 to 5. Although even with this model, you might be thinking at this point, whatever you choose on the maximized category will have some rate of failure, have a chance of failure, which means if you fail, then all the work that you did is sort of like a waste. You worked so hard for results that never came. And that uncertainty in itself makes it so you're more likely to fail. If you want to build up your certainty and pretty much make it 100% guarantee that you do get results, there's 4 different paths that people take to eventually get their results, but only one of them actually works. If you want to learn about that one path, then watch this video here. Or if you just want to not financially butt fuck yourself and survive that whole 2 to 5 years, make sure that you have enough money to live and then continue on those 2 to 5 years, then watch this video over here.